ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
My name is Harijot Singh,
And I'm Guvinder Singh.
and today we're discussing the Bhai Kanhaiya story. SikhNet is going to be releasing very soon. This is some screen captures of the coming animation, and we're really pleased with how it came out. We're really happy to share it with everybody, and so we're going to have a little discussion about it. One of the first things that comes to mind with Bhai Kanhaiya, of course, we were discussing this, and I keep mentioning that we like to say as Sikhs, or some people say today, that Bhai Kanhaiya was the Red Cross before there was such thing as a Red Cross. And this is a very good way to kind of communicate the spirit of Seva to the Western world. But really, what strikes me is that we as Sikhs have forgotten that Bhai Kanhaiya is actually the founder of a Samprada, an order of Sikhs. Just like we have the Samprada of the Udasi Samprada, we have the Bidhi Chand, the Bidhi Chandis is a Jatha that came from Bidhi Chand. We have the Sutre Shahis, the Nirmalas, there's different taksals and different sampradas that are understood. And this is one that this story demonstrates the Guru himself personally blessed. And somehow we've not remembered the name of these people who Guru has blessed, the name of that samprada the Guru has personally initiated and blessed.
So we have the Seva Panthis, a school of thought, who are continuing the tradition of Guru Nanak that focuses around indiscriminate seva of humanity, and his mission, his life was dedicated to prolonging, or rather extending, that mission of Guru Nanak into today. It's mainly because of the Seva Panthis that we as a community have maintained an understanding of Seva because of their work during the 18th and 19th centuries. But they have become a forgotten group, and I feel that this animation that we've embarked on is there to, in some sense, reignite an understanding, reignite an interest, and reignite that mission of the Seva Panthis amongst those who will listen, as well as the children.
So you mentioned that they did a lot of work, a lot of missionary work in previous centuries. What work did they do? I don't think we've ever heard about this.
So what they did during the 18th and 19th century was they helped essentially keep the communities together. There was a lot of fighting during that period with the state, with the political state at the time, with the Mughal government of Lahore. And there was a big effort by the different Sikh communities to begin to spread Guru Nanak's humanitarian universal message, na koi Hindu, na koi Musliman, this idea of understanding all as one. And they brought the communities together through this message. They would, alongside the Guru Granth Sahib, they would teach the Sufi scripture, the Masnav of Rumi, which is the poetics of the Sufi tradition from Rumi, as well as the Yog Vashisht from the quote-unquote Hindu tradition. And in that, they were promoting a universal message, as well as committing themselves to different egalitarian projects that went beyond religious boundaries and caste distinctions.
In other words, they were looking outside of even the Sikh community to serve the Sikhs. They were really, this principle, we all serve Langar, and they were taking it to another next level of actually educating the Muslim community. And what this reminds me of is Guru Nanak went to Makkah and Medina, but Sikhs have not gone there since that time. So this idea of spreading Sikhi and teachings to the Muslim community is not really present anywhere else. So that's just, it's beautiful that there was people who were doing something like that. Now, they're still around though, right?
Well, this is the difficult thing. It's very hard today to trace them. There are small groups, pockets of them that exist. However, they are not populated like they were in the past. Like the Udasis, they've gone through slow death, if you will, and that's partly because of the Sikh reform movement that sought to push out a certain singular identity and isolate and marginalize.
Right. There was this thing called, they say, ik panth, ik granth, and the fact of the matter is that the Udasi panth, it wasn't just the Udasi Samprada that was blessed. The Udasis was the first Samprada that was started by the Gurus, that was blessed by the Gurus, by the sixth Guru, by
Mm.
the 10th Guru selected the Mahants of the Udasi Sampradaya. That was the first one. Then you had other, like we mentioned, a few other ones, and then of course the Seva Panthis Sampradaya. They were
Right.
called they were different little panths within the greater panth. And
Right.
then later, this idea, like you're saying, the reform movement came up with the idea of ik panth, that we should not have a diversity of thought. So this was a new thing that squeezed out these diverse communities. But I
Sikhi
always say,
survived because of its school of thoughts. You know, the different schools
say
of
again,
thought.
Sikhi what?
Sikhi survived because of its
Hmm.
schools of thought. You know, it was the schools of thought that pushed out Guru Nanak's message, or rather shared Guru Nanak's message to a multiplicity of different people. Sikhi, today we have a very obscured understanding of it being isolated in the Punjab specifically. But remember, Guru Gobind Singh wasn't born anywhere near the Punjab. Guru Gobind Singh also chose his place of his Jyoti Jyot to be completely outside of the Punjab. The Gurus had a universal understanding of where their teachings were being understood, where they were going to reach. And these schools of
Hmm.
thought served for that as well, in different varying ways, different varying garbs, just like Guru Nanak, never sticking to one
Right.
specific garb, you know, being
Nanak
able.
Nirankari.
There we go.
When it comes to the subject of the different communities, different sampradayas, and different types of so-called types of Sikhs, I always think that, Christianity was founded upon simple 3 years of Jesus' teaching, and it became
Mm,
this dominant world religion. There's hundreds and probably thousands of different denominations of Christians. There's the Calvinists, the cavalry people, there's the Baptists, there's what's the main reformer in Christianity? His name was
Martin Luther,
the
Protestants.
Lutherans, the Lutheran Church. There's so many different denominations, and that's based off one person. Now we have 10 gurus, and we think that we're going to put it all in one singular path, and that's not actually how history demonstrated itself. Sikhi is too deep for one lifetime for one to understand in a lifetime, and is too massive, is too significant to be contained within one community. So of course there's always going to be I hope there's many, many more like traditions and many, many more communities out there. So in that spirit, we know from this story that Guru Gobind Singh has personally blessed the Seva Panthi lineage. And we hope that we will see more of them, we will become more of them, that these traditions will flourish rather than be forgotten, that this trend of dropping away these beautiful traditions will reverse, and instead a light should be shown on them and they will flourish.
Full on. You know, the Gurus were around for the 10 Gurus stood and walked amongst us for around 300 years or more, right? And within that, many traditions flowered, many schools of thought flowered. And it's important through stories like this that we begin to reinvigorate the panth, our community, to understand the different schools of thought that exist, so that different forms of embodied practice can once again flower and inspire children as well to move towards different forms of embodied Sikhi. So on that note,
but there's a little bit more we should talk about, because the spiritual significance of what Bhai Kanhaiya did. I mean, there's a side story which we didn't tell, which is that when Guru Gobind Singh told all the Sikhs to start wearing swords,
yeah,
that he was just serving in langar, like the picture that you have there. He was just
right.
serving people. He had his own ashram center, and he was serving and
Mhm.
serving. And then he started wearing a sword while serving.
Yeah,
And then some Khalsa came by and said, "Why are you wearing this?" They see that he's not going to be fighting in a battle, and he said, "Why are you wearing a sword?" And he said, "Well, Guru Gobind Singh told us to wear swords." And he says, "And I'm a Sikh of the Guru." And the Singh is like, "But if," he's like, "That's not my point." He asked them a further question: "If somebody comes to come in with their sword to kill you, are you going to raise your sword against him?" He said, "No, I will serve him by chopping my own head off first. That's why I have my sword, is in order to save him the effort to kill me." And so then that Singh went back and told Guru Gobind Singh this episode, and then he got the message in return, just from Guru Gobind Singh: "Tell Bhai Kanhaiya ji that his sword is his mashak. He doesn't have to wear a kirpan." And
right.
so it's kind of like this diversity of community. Look at the value he brings by it's not that he's defying the Hukamnama of Guru Gobind Singh. He's not defying the campaign of fighting the tyranny by serving the enemies in the battlefield. He's complementing that. Why are we fighting is actually to end violence. And we're here to
Yeah,
we're not just trying to humble the opponent, we're trying to serve the opponent. Sometimes you serve them by killing them, and when Guru blesses somebody with his sword, they're liberated. When a
yeah,
Khalsa blesses somebody with their sword, that person becomes Khalsa in the next lifetime. And Bhai Kanhaiya is also serving. It's just a different type of service. So that's the value of having a diverse communities, is they help us to demonstrate the significance of what we're doing. They help us to understand our own practices. And if we see different Sikhs out there, they seem to be doing something different. Rather than say they shouldn't do this is not the Guru's way, maybe we should say instead, the Guru's way is too beyond us. Maybe they're doing something we should learn from them to understand how is our Sikhi.
You know, these kind of conversations are fundamental, and these kind of narratives cause us to question and remember our individual places as well within Sikhi. And the more that, you know, these kind of stories develop within the community, rather our history develops in the community and is retold and re-understood, and that katha is embodied by us, we can live in a space where we can begin to integrate and also appreciate what it was to be in the time of the Guru, in his darbar, because we will begin to emulate that. You know, as Gurbani says, Babaniya Kahaniya Saput Put Karen. It's fundamental.
Babaniya Kahaniya Put Suput Karen.
Saput Karen, right? You know, it's fundamental that the narratives are told so that we can bring about the restarting of our culture, the beginning of our culture again, the dispersing of it, the sharing of it again, because we have been colonized, we've gone through that effect, and you know, it's time to move past it.
Yeah. So in the spirit of telling the stories, Babaniya Kahaniya, the stories of the elders to the children, this animation will come out very soon, and we hope you spread it and you enjoy it. Also, if you like this talk that we have, this discussion between myself, Harijot Singh, and Guvinder Singh here, if you want to see more of these types of talks, Hanji,
please leave comments in the comment section on YouTube.
Yes.
and wherever else.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.